What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV, back at it again with another one, my friends. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Now kick back, relax, and come take a ride with your boy. It's been an eventful Sunday in women's college hoops. In my previous video, we broke down the LSU versus Tennessee game. LSU took the win 75-60 on the road, and Hailey Van Lith exploded for 26 points, a season high for her, and she also committed several turnovers in about 37 minutes of play, running that point guard position, shutting the haters up. But we got a viral video of Angel Reese talking crazy to the Tennessee bench. We gotta talk about that. South Carolina whooped Kentucky by 48, y'all. Continuing to run through the SEC, Caitlin Clark dropped a triple dub. Iowa gets back in the win column, and she's just 51 points away from Pistol Pete. But before we get into all that, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest. And join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
So we mentioned Hailey Van Lith finished with 26. Angel Reese finished with 11 and 16, another double-double notched in for the Bayou Barbie, and more impressively, she scored her 2,000th point on the year. Now, it looks like LSU is pretty much all but locked up that second seed in the SEC. They're going to be on the opposite bracket of South Carolina, which gives us that potential rematch in the championship game of the SEC tournament. It's getting good. Now, they won 75-60 in a hard-fought effort. It got chippy. There's no love lost between these two squads, LSU and Tennessee. And I was seeing some comments, I don't know how true it is, that star player from LSU, Angel Reese, and star player from Tennessee, Reese Jackson, don't exactly get along. I mean, they did play in international competition together, so I don't know, exactly what the relationship is there. But there was some speculation in a clip that went viral where Angel Reese can be seen here, lining up, talking trash, calling Tennessee some broke, you know what I'm saying, telling them to get their money up. And it's straight bag talk, man. That NIL has changed things. There was some speculation because Reese Jackson pushed Angel Reese at the end of the game that Angel could have been talking to Reese. They also said she could have been talking to the Tennessee coach. I don't know, but she calling somebody broke and telling them to get their bag up after handing them a double-double, after scoring her 2,000th point, and after picking up a huge win to try to lock in that number 2 seed. NIL is wild, man. It's got these athletes talking crazy, and we know Angel really hasn't been one to hold her tongue in competition. She gets into it with a lot of players. She's got that fiery competitor spirit. She's a dog on the floor, and she's very strongly opinionated. And, hey, we know she making that money on, you know what I'm saying? So she telling Tennessee to get their racks up, get their bag up, calling them a bunch of broke boys out there. That is crazy talk, but big win for LSU, I should say. Big performances from their stars. Hailey Van Lith, quieting the haters, still growing into that point guard position. And we heard from Coach Mulkey in the last video. She kind of talked about how Hailey Van Lith is getting all this criticism, but people need to be patient. She's learning a new position, and she's continuing to get better at that point guard position. We saw one of her best performances today. Sticking with the SEC, South Carolina continues to just dominate the competition. I mean, they were up 25-8 or 25-9 in the first quarter against Kentucky, and they never looked back. No Camila Cardoso, no problem. The leading scorer for South Carolina, she was in international play with Brazil, and she needed some rest. She had some soreness, it was reported, after that Georgia game. And so she sat out this game, and it didn't matter. The bigs, Ashlyn Watkins, Sanaya Fagan was incredible. incredible, man. She had 3 block shots in the first quarter, y'all. Just big performance from her. But let's get into the numbers. South Carolina won this game handedly, 103-55. They shot at a whopping 64.4% from the field, held Kentucky to 33.8. They shot 8 of 12 from 3. South Carolina knocked down 66.7% of their threes. They held Kentucky to 4 of 14 beyond the arc, 28.6 from the field. And how about those free throws? South Carolina shooting 90.5% from the line as a team, knocking down 19 of 21. The rebounding battle, though, that was like the only thing close in this game. South Carolina took the +1 margin, 39-38. But the assists, 30, the blocks, 10. It was the guards, it was the bigs, it was a block party. 10 steals. They forced 19 turnovers. And man, I think what was more impressive about the turnovers was the transition points. They turned almost every Kentucky turnover into a transition bucket at the other side. Looking at the scoring attack, we know the usual suspects. Tahina Powell, 11 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Bree Hall led the team in scoring after a couple quiet nights on the scoring end for her. She came back in a big way with 18 points. Shot 8 of 10 from the field, man. Just efficient. Raven Johnson getting back in her bag. 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Just doing a little bit of everything. Ashlyn Watkins, man, her offensive game continues to just blossom. I love how she can just square up against other bigs and blow right past them to the layup, man, for a bucket. Like, she is just agile, athletic, explosive, and everything in between. 15 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds for her. Kitts doing her thing. She was monstrous on the board, led the team in rebounding with 12 rebounds. Also had 10 points and 5 assists for her as well. Running the floor. You know, we saw her bring the ball up a little bit in the open floor. And then we know what she can do as a passer in that post. Also, I was just really impressed with Sanaya Fagan, man. 14 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, a handful of blocks. She just continues to be a dominant force whenever she gets more minutes. She's getting better with every rep, and she is just an elite prospect to be able to bring off the bench compared to other players' backup bigs. Like, she is a starter quality talent, and the fact that they can bring her off the bench to make a difference whenever one of the other bigs isn't feeling it is just a truly a benefit to South Carolina. Tessa Johnson has been shooting the basketball well of late, the freshman. 5 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound. And then, you know, Malaysia Fulwiley doing what she does. 17 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. She was living at the free throw line, drawing all kinds of fouls. But another balanced, well-effort, offensive, high octane, sharing the basketball. Just, it looked easy for them out there. Transition buckets, and I think they did an incredible job, the guards, of getting the ball down low to those bigs and letting them operate down low and running the offense through the post, man. We got to see that. We saw them, though, shoot an extremely high percentage from the three-point line as well, man, and that's just a continued strength. If South Carolina's hitting threes like that, you know, good night. I mean, what more can you really do to try to stop that, man? It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot of firepower. The fact that they turned the three-point shooting into a strength is just scary for the rest of the league right now, and frankly for the entire nation for that matter. South Carolina will go to Arkansas, and then they will host Tennessee for the finale. They've got a chance to pretty much finish the season undefeated, head into the SEC with the number 1 seed and rolling. I mean, they have been the best team all year so far. Everybody's chasing South Carolina. They started off as the hunter in this season. So many there were a lot of expectations, but there were also a lot of doubters. There was a lot of doubt around this group. So there weren't a whole lot of new faces per se, but there were a whole lot of new faces stepping into bigger roles than they were accustomed to playing to. And they have just delivered. We've seen these players, especially like Breezy Hall, that have waited their turn. They have 7 McDonald's All-Americans on this roster. Players have waited their turn, and now that they have been handed the keys, there's no looking back. Dawn Staley has his team firing on all cylinders. She is now at her 601 win, her 601st win. 601, that's a big number. And, hey, we know she is not slowing down anytime soon. Already got 2 natties. Man, South Carolina's just rolling right now. It's them versus everybody else. And I'm looking at it. I mean, there is obviously some other competition. You have to play the games, but man, it just doesn't feel like there's a team in the country that is stacking up with this team. Just the way that they can score in a variety of ways. You never know whose night it's going to be. And then, importantly, too, the way that they can turn defense into offense, man. They just get stops, and they are off to the races. And they are one of the best teams in the nation in transition. They're leading the SEC in assists per game. They're sharing the basketball. They have a quality group of guards that bring different types of skill sets. You know, you got Pow Pow who can play either guard, a combo guard who can score it, spot up, get her own shot off the dribble, is a capable playmaker. You got Raven Johnson, the stat sheet stuffer, the true pass first point guard for this group, but also just does all the dirty work and has been shooting at a career high this year. Malaysia Fulwiley, the most electrifying player in the nation with the basketball in her hands. I mean, she just gives me shades of Kyrie Irving, y'all, every time I see her play. Every time she gets the basketball, you're like clenched up, like something's crazy's about to happen. She has you on the edge of your seats every night. They're bringing that off the bench. I mean, they arguably have the 2 top players for 6th Woman of the Year right now in Ashlyn Watkins and Fulwiley. Watkins coming off the bench or starting in this front court has just been incredible. We've seen her minutes go up, and with that, her production. She might be the most athletic player in the nation. You got Camila Cardoso, who hasn't even played in the last 2 games, and they've still dominated. Their leading scorer, rebounder, blocker. She adds a different dynamic to this team. They're not losing any rebounding battles with her in the game. The rise of Sanaya Fagan has been incredible. You know, she's been around a while. She's waited to just get an opportunity. And the junior's doing big things, man. She's just an incredible force. She's relentless on the boards. She's big. She's physical. She's agile, getting up and down the court. And she's an elite shot blocker as well, man. So just so many different pieces. Chloe Kitts can spread the floor, hit the 3. So you can't pack the lane against these bigs. She's a capable passer. She is very physical. And I love that, like, a lot of nights she's guarding the best post player. You know, Ashlyn Watkins takes that challenge on too when she's in. But Kitts has had some tough matchups, man, and she hasn't been outplayed a whole lot. I love her tenacity and her fearlessness on the court. It's just too many pieces to deal with, man. And, you know, we've seen a few teams that we think can compete with them. A team that beat them last year, Iowa, is back in the win column after losing to Indiana in embarrassing fashion. Caitlin Clark comes back, drops a triple dub, and you can tell she's trusting her teammates more after that last game. And she gets in these streaks where she's just like, she goes cold and tries to shoot herself out of these slumps, and it ends up shooting Iowa out of games sometimes, man. We gotta acknowledge that. As great as Caitlin Clark is, you know, there's definitely still some room for improvement. Now, the pros outweigh the cons for sure, but we got to talk about the shot selection and the turnovers when we talk about all the greatness. But they bounce back with a big win. She has a triple-double, and Iowa notches another crucial Big Ten win. Iowa took the dub versus Illinois, 101-85. They shot an impressive 50% from the field, 45.9 from 3. They chucked 37 threes, and this is just becoming this is their identity at this point. You know, they rebounded well as a team, 42 rebounds, winning that margin, +1 over 41 rebounds for Illinois. And then looking at the assists, this is what you want to see. Sharing the basketball, getting good shots within the flow of the offense. A more balanced attack than Caitlin Clark just going out there shooting 30 times and they hoping that she can carry them to the win solo. 28 assists. They also play better defense, 4 blocks. I mean, you still gave up 85 points, but, you know, you're blocking shots, you're getting steals. They're going to want to cut down on the turnovers, though. They lose that battle 17-13. Definitely want to cut down on that, but I think other than, you know, Iowa kind of being slandered for not being able to guard the chair I'm sitting in, you know, defense has not been anywhere near a calling card for them. They have been outscoring teams, though, and, you know, if you can score 101 points, you know, more times than not, even if your defense is suspect, you're going to win the game. Hannah Stokey bounced back with a huge game. Sophomore forward had 20 points, 1 assist, 9 rebounds in 31 minutes of play. She's playing bigger, and they need her to be active on those boards. Caitlin Clark, though, speaking of being active on the boards, 15 rebounds to lead Iowa on the glass, 24 points and 10 assists as well, dropping a very nice triple dub. Molly Davis, 17 points for her. Kate Martin poured in another 13. Both of them as well, moving the basketball, creating for others. It doesn't always have to go through Caitlin Clark. Other players are showing that they can create as well. Davis, 5 assists. Martin, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? They need her versatility, her size, to be able to just impact the glass when she can. Sarah Falter, 8 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. They were sharing the basketball. You got multiple players with 4+ assists. Gabby Marshall threw out 3 assists as well, But sharing the basketball, this was a very well-balanced effort. I think that they executed really well their offensive game plan. They took smart shots, and they were rewarded, man. Shooting 50% from the field as a team is very impressive. You want to come back and see a balanced attack after getting their doors blown off. With the win, Iowa is now tied for second right now with Indiana at 13-3 in conference. It's looking like it's still going to run through Ohio State, but Iowa has a chance to lock up that 2 seed potentially. They finish out the year against Minnesota, and then they have that mega matchup against Ohio State at home, a team that has already beaten them. It was an instant classic when they went into OT. So, not to say it's a must-win for Iowa, but if they want that 2 seed, that game is probably a must-win. But it feels like Ohio State, it's all running through them right now. A lot of talent, a lot of balance, a lot of veterans in that group that are playing extremely well right now. They're playing their best basketball at a really great time, and they're the cream of the crop in the Big Ten right now. Iowa making that late season push, though. We know they'll be in any game that Caitlin Clark is in. I think that as far as for Iowa, that supporting cast has to make plays, but again, Clark has to give them a chance to make plays. People have been hard on that supporting cast, maybe myself included, about not contributing a lot, but at the same time, they have to be given the chance to contribute. And it seemed like today, Clark really trusted her teammates, and they delivered for her, and that's what they're going to need. It's going to be a team effort, because one player is not about to beat that juggernaut down in South Carolina. I'm telling you right now. If Iowa wants to get back to the national championship game, they've got to continue to get this production from the supporting cast. So, love what I saw from them, moving the basketball, way to come back, fight hard, get a hard-earned win. No easy wins in the Big Ten. After a loss, they're back in the win column, and they're still fighting for that 2 seed. And depending on what Ohio State does, if they completely fold, Iowa may can sneak in and grab that 1 seed. You never know. It seems like, it's going to be a big draw if they're able to play at home, if they're able to stay at the crib, we know. So that would be big. They were a 1 seed at one point, got dropped down to a 2 seed. Right now, who knows, 2 seed, 3 seed maybe, depending on how the rest of the season goes. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about the situation, though. Holler at your boy. Let me know what we need to know. And as for next time, man, that's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Until the next one, hey, we out.